Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, let's do a level 99 review of Sterne, and then also compare him to some sort of similar characters. And I kept putting off making this video about Sterne, but yesterday or the day before I randomly pulled a Super Sterne, and I took it as a sign, so I'm going to go ahead with the video. For the first month or so in JP, Sterne, he was considered the best attacker in the game. And I was lucky to pull him very early. He was maybe the third UR I ever pulled, so I leveled him up as soon as I could, got a bunch of use out of him, and I'm still using him today. He's one of the MVPs of my JP account, no question. But besides playing great, he is one of my favorite characters in the story. I like his look, first of all. You don't see a lot of anime men with kind of short hair, without bangs, and also black hair. And then his voice actor is really good. He's like an angry, fiery character. And in anime, there are stereotypical fiery guy voices, but Sterne's is different. It's deep, but it's not from the gut. It's more like in the throat, which makes it sound younger, and that fits the character. There's a lot of texture in that throatiness as well. It really makes him sound alive, but also like so furious that he could spit. It really adds to his character. And typically, fiery guys in anime, they have higher pitched voices. Sometimes reedy, like Sanagayama from Kill la Kill. Sometimes kind of spoken more towards the front of the mouth, like Arakita from Yowamushi Pedaru. Another kind of like textured voice, but like is still kind of high-pitched, Hijikata from Gintama. That's one of my most favorite voice performances. But actually the voice performance of like an angry guy, that might be the most similar to Sterne, is Vegeta from Dragon Ball. It's also kind of spoken from the throat, but not nearly as textured, but there is a little bit in there. But yeah, I think looking at these clips, you get a sense of the kind of voice actor that I like for a male part in anime. And then if you can think of like a performance that is similar to Sterne here, I'd be really interested to know, so please leave that in the comments. But there's lots of things to talk about in regards to Sterne. We'll do the usual rundown of the jobs and skills. We'll take an in-depth look at Drain Force. And then we'll do a comparison of the different dark slash units that I showed you earlier. But first of all, Sterne is a dark element unit, main job soldier, sub-jobs dragoon, and ninja. Soldier does big damage. It has some drain capabilities as well, whether he's draining HP from enemies or himself. So he's kind of a Dark Knight by a different name. And also, just like Dark Knights, he can be fragile. Ninja is good for movement, speed, and ranged attacks, while Dragoon is good for jump attacks and then further drain capabilities. But in a nutshell, Sterne is there to get in there as fast as he can, do lots of damage, but with a risk of going down easily. In PvP, if you're lucky, you'll get maybe 2 big attacks before he goes down. But yeah, that is his style. And so you probably already know if his style fits your playstyle or not. And then he actually doesn't fit my normal playstyle, kind of a defensive, turtle-y kind of playstyle, but I used him so much, and then I kind of learned his kit so well that I really like him now. But let's look at his skills. We'll be brief here because I already talked about him in a previous review video. But the number one attack that you want to use for the soldier main job is Hazard Break. And this has a bit of range, has a bit of area of effect. It's kind of expensive at 29 AP, and then it does take away a bit of his HP, but it's very, very strong, and it can do top level damage even now. But yeah, that was 4,000 damage on that Tower Floor 20 Eileen. And that was even when Sterne was still at 89. That was a video that I took some months ago. So at 99 he'll do even more damage. And then if we look at his soldier sub-job, I like the hard slash. This is just a real like vanilla attack. Just one panel away, no like breaks or killers or anything, just a real basic attack. But it only costs 17 AP. And then for raids, this is often the attack that I will use the most. When you are going into raids, you don't want to use your most powerful, most expensive spells. You want to use your kind of your least expensive, because you want number of uses rather than just one big damage right there. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to build chains, and so even with this 17 AP attack, if your chain goes up high enough, you can do 9999 damage with this attack. But generally don't use this sub-job. And then if we look at the Dragoon sub-job, the big attack we want to use here is Dragon Dive. This is kind of like a similar sort of thing to Hazard Break. Medium range, small area of effect, around 30 AP, and then big damage. So yeah, you can take down like 2 or 3 guys at once if you can somehow maneuver them together. But yeah, when I use Sterne, I really want him to use either Hazard Break or Dragon Dive. That's really what I'm focusing on. And then last sub-job is going to be Ninja. And then this is great for people just starting out or people farming easy quests because he has Shuriken, which has long range, is cheap, has multiple uses, and does pretty good damage. But for higher level content and then PvP, I don't think Ninja is going to be the best sub-job. You want to go all out with Sterne. That's what his function is. Alright, and that was a Dragon Dive, one-punching a level 99 Orlandu. That was from a recent guild battle that I did the other day. And yeah, I don't know what else I need to show you to convince you to use Sterne, because that's what he does. Alright, next, let's talk about Drain Force. And this is a unique skill, so it does take a little bit of time to explain just this in isolation. But to be as brief as I can, it drains the target's HP for a percentage value of the caster's max HP. I think it's around like 30-35% based on how high you've leveled it. But it doesn't figure the usual stats like attack or defense, it just looks at Sterne's max HP, so it can be effective to get around a tank's defenses. Also, it takes into account the innate elemental advantage, so Sterne will do extra drain on Engelbert, Kiston will do extra drain on Orlandu, etc, etc. There are a few ways to increase the percentage of your max HP that you will drain. The one that is available in Global is Odin and Maneater. That will help you get more drain there. There are a couple more ways in JP. One is Vinetta's High Heels Trustmaster. That will give you a male killer. You can also use the Lamia Vision card, which also has male killer. But that was changed for Global. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because it would make Drain Force too powerful, but I don't know. And then, of course, if you wanted to raise the amount of HP that you're draining, you can raise the HP of your own guy. So in Sterne's case, you could give him this HP up support ability, gold armor, golem esper, stuff like that. It's not super viable in Global, and it's really not even super viable in JP as well, but it's something to keep in mind. And one thing before I forget, so Drain Force kind of gets through defenses in a funky way, and then also the ninja sub-job. There is Anton. Every ninja has like an elemental something ton, this has no attack type. So against a character like Sasayaki, who has very high resistances, this can get through that defense, so this might also be worth keeping in mind. Okay, but looking at other support abilities, he has this agility up. This is important for him because you want him to get in there as quick as you can, do some big attacks. And then he has a couple movement attacks, Shukuchi and then jump +1. And then he has self-sacrifice, which really changes the character. You equip it, you get a giant attack buff, but your defense goes down. And so knowing when to equip this and when to leave it off is kind of important. For Arena, when you're just going for those 1 or 2 big hits, I would say leave it on. If you're going into a battle that is going to be longer, like a Floor of the Tower, then I would leave it off. You want to play the long game in there. And then for reaction abilities, he doesn't really have anything good. They're all kind of like a counterattack. But I have the Dragoon one on. This will drain HP, which is always nice for him. Okay, and then finally, let's compare him to these other dark slash attackers. And I've said this multiple times, but getting at least one of these units is very important now, so you should work on one. I don't make many hard recommendations in this game, but this is one of them. Get a dark slash unit. And the game offers a lot of them, and it offers a lot of chances to use them. So yeah, that's the game design coming all together there. The 4 that I'll talk about today are Sterne, Gafgarion, Shadowlynx, and Super Sterne. And I could include Bineda in this discussion, but I'll do a level 99 review of her pretty soon, so you can look forward to that. And then I don't recommend skipping these first 3 and waiting for Super Sterne, because then you won't have anything for the dark slash meta stuff coming in the next 3-4 months. But it might be interesting to compare him to the others. And then I made this super sloppy comparison graph with a bunch of categories. This is more for me rather than for you, but you can feel free to screenshot that if you like. But to distill the characters down into a few words, what do they all have in common? They have nice ranged attacks, they have good to great damage, they're good farmers, and they're fragile. And so what is Sterne good at in particular? He is super fast and mobile, he has drain, he has better AoE attacks than most of the others, and he has top class damage, like 4,000 or 5,000 damage. And what sets Gafgarion apart? He has Maneater, also drain, strike attacks from his Monk subjob if you need those strike type attacks, and then top class damage for an MR character. And then Shadowlynx, what sets her apart? She has top class evade and movement, chaining, very high agility, and then maybe more survivable than these other characters if you can get her evade high enough. And then finally is Super Sterne. He is evadey, he has top class damage, light slayer, defense piercing, chaining, mug, great AoE attacks, breaks, and the most HP of these 4 characters. So yeah, Super Sterne is great, and he is worth the investment, I think. But for now, you need to choose between Sterne, Shadowlynx, or Gafgarion. You could do all 3, of course, if you like. But if you did not have Sterne, and then you can't max Gafgarion, like if you missed his shards or something, then the choice is easy. You want to go for Shadowlynx. If you're working on an evade team, that's also easy. You want to go for Shadowlynx. If you don't have any other chainer of any other element, I would say go for Shadowlynx. If you want the most useful Trustmaster of all these, I would say go for Gafgarion. And then if you want to bet on Dark Strike attacks being useful in the future, go for Gafgarion. And if you want top class damage, then you go for Sterne. And I think in a nutshell, that's what all of these characters offer and how you should base your choice. Okay, but I think that will do it for this level 99 review of Sterne. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.